06 this morning. I have my gentleman here, and he's been giving us back to back. Banker Friday day, I expected him to take it slow on us, but it looks like he has come fully prepared. And so Kofi Black,
Hello.
you're welcome.
Yo, thank you for having me. Good
Solid guy.
Solid guy.
Good morning.
Charlie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Good morning to all your viewers.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I just feel we are going to have a good time on set today. I always say if you are looking forward to the person who is not going to literally bootlick your favorite. I'm the guy you need to listen to because
definitely
your favorite is going to put right.
Definitely. So how is the Friday looking like?
Man, the
Friday,
Friday
we have a little rain showers.
Yeah,
and
lots of it was, I think it rained a little bit and it started showering. It's a wet morning, it's not my favorite type of morning. I don't know about you. Do you like wet mornings?
I do. I feel it makes things, easier.
It eases things down for
definitely.
you. Okay. I just like a little heat,
you
like in the early hours.
You like the heat. Hot. You like it hot. Definitely. He likes it hot. So we are going hot on our birthday segment. And so this morning we are celebrating people.
Great.
Definitely, just like we do it all the time.
Yeah.
You have anybody celebrating their birthday?
No, probably, but I'm not aware of it. So.
Then it means if I'm your girlfriend, you wouldn't be aware if I'm celebrating my birthday.
Well, try being my girlfriend. We'll know about that.
Oh, well, I don't think I will try that for now. So send in your birthday wishes on 0503951006. Let's go quickly into our famous birthdays. Ghanaian politician and legal scholar who served as president of Ghana from 2009 until his death in 2012, 21st July 1944 to 24th July 2012, John Evans Fifi Atta Mills would have celebrated his 79th birthday today. That's Atta Mills, right?
Yeah, Atta Mills' passing is just one of the saddest moments, and the lives of a lot of Ghanaians, who heard the news,
Definitely.
I literally remember, it's one of those moments that you can literally remember where you were, what you were doing at the time.
I was going to ask you where you were.
Man, I was literally on bed when I heard the news. I think I read it. I was online or something. I saw it, and it was just such a gloomy day. Just after that, it was quite sad. Everything that he went through, and I mean, Atta Mills is now really celebrated as one of those guys who didn't let the power change him, because he seemed to be a very strong person, grounded person. He didn't seem to get out of character even when he had power. He usually is referred to as a humble, a man of peace, father for all. Literally that was what Atta Mills was. And I think he is one of those leaders that really did change the face of Ghanaian politics. I think one of the things that he did that was most important was not to be a vindictive leader. Because I think prior to him there had been that notion of when a new party comes to power, they try to go after the previous government and everything, and he seemed to be on a better, but it's just sad how he had to go. So
the exit was painful.
It was very painful,
and
I love to think.
Yeah, I love the fact that you mentioned the word peace.
Yeah.
Because when you mention the name Atta Mills,
that's what comes
it's
to
definitely
mind.
associated with the word peace.
Yeah.
And it's a great thing that we had, such a leader.
Exactly.
Yes. And I think that at a point our governance system even frustrated him as a person.
Wow.
Because this is someone that we didn't see all that rough part of him. And being in government or being a leader, it needed you, or it required you to let's see that raspiness of you. And all of that.
I think there was this once that he showed that type of roughness. I think that was when the SEPS issue, I think Anas did a story about, is it SEPS or the Ghana Harbour, and he went there and then he gave them the talking of their lives, but it's just not his character. He just seemed to be a very peaceful, laid back person. And I also love the fact that he was a leader who wasn't afraid to put out, his religious, how do you put it, his religious inclinations, you understand. He didn't try to put it in the backdrop.
No.
He openly professed, his faith in God, openly professed his faith in Jesus. And even his coming to power, we all heard how TB Joshua prophesied, also there was just a lot of good tidings, really around him. It was just sad the way he left, so it was just a sad day.
Definitely the man we needed. Ghanaian professional footballer who plays as a midfielder, Anthony Gildas Kofi Annan, celebrates his 37th birthday today. You know him?
Yeah, Anthony Annan. I remember Anthony Annan, number 6, the Black Stars.
What does the number 6 play? Is it a striker?
No, he's not a striker. He's sitting behind, the midfield. He's protecting the back line. Yeah, okay. So it's more like. I don't know
about the numbers though.
Okay, so he is literally, the progression between the back line and then the forwards. You understand? That's what Anthony Annan was excellent in his time. I think he was one of those players who really did leave a mark when it came to that position. Though we did have people like Asian at the time. He still managed to get into the team. That should tell you the type of player he was, and he was quite consistent when he was an active player. I don't know whether he still plays or not, but I should think that he's already retired probably.
Definitely so. Happy birthday to you. Jamaican reggae artist and youngest son of Bob Marley, Damon Marley, celebrates his 45th birthday today. He is the recipient of 4 Grammy Awards. Bob Marley's youngest son.
Yeah, Bob Marley's youngest son. The son of a Miss World.
Definitely.
Literally.
And I saw the mom and I was like, no, she is such a beauty.
Yeah.
And it tells us that Bob Marley had eyes.
Oh yeah. I mean, and it appears the women also love him, because to be able to attract, a Miss World. And I would like to go a little bit on Damian Marley. This guy is one of my favorite artists of all times. I feel, he's one of those people who makes you realize that music is not just about, getting out there and dancing or whatever. He's that type of person that you listen to that can shift, your whole train of thoughts or even your worldview. I think one of his most groundbreaking records that I really paid attention to was his record with Nas, with Distant Relatives. It was a very interesting, back and forth between rap and then reggae dancehall, and it was just a beautiful thing. I think I like one of his biggest songs that I like, not biggest really, but is Speak Life. You understand? And for me it speaks a lot about what we are supposed to look out for in our dailies. And obviously Grammy award winning, 4 times Grammy award winning. And he's the type of guy that when he's in that category, the reggae whatever dancehall category,
it's a bit shaky,
yeah, you should know that. Just like what Angelique Kidjo does, he's really taking it. And it's beautiful how he's been able to cement himself in the US market. You understand? I think presently I usually say that Bob Marley speaks to the soul, Damian Marley speaks to the spirit. Damian Marley is deeply spiritual. You understand? And I just like the topics that he likes to delve in when it comes to he's just an amazing guy. Happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday to him. Of course, I would say he took it from his dad. He got it definitely from his father. American actor and producer Josh Hartnett turns 45 today. Happy birthday to you. French-British actress and singer Charlotte Gainsbourg celebrates her 52nd birthday today. Happy birthday to you. British former actor Jamie Michael Colin Waylard turns 34 today. His only film role to date is that of Vincent Crabbe in 6 of 8 Harry Potter films. In 2012, he was imprisoned for 2 years for his participation in the 2011 England riots. This was a young guy, I saw him in the Harry Potter series.
Movie, okay.
And looking at the fact that he was involved in all of that.
Wow.
And
I'm trying to remember his face from because I think I was even late to the Harry Potter movie, but The face is not
Well,
clicking.
I saw him in just one of it.
It was just one.
Yes,
Okay.
I saw
Okay.
him in just one of
Okay.
it. And so we are sorry for that. You know, when it happens that way, it takes life is taken away from you.
So
I
fast.
feel, you know, and
Yeah.
when you come back and how to put yourself
Yeah,
together,
readjust.
it's
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
difficult. And we pray that we don't, you know, end up in such situations. Funny enough, when we see people in such situations, prison, you know, finding themselves in trouble and all of that, we kind of, you know, we sit and we are like, hey,
It can never happen to you.
But
Yeah,
then
that's
it's
what it
only
looks
there's
like.
only a thin line, you know.
Very thin line. Very thin line. Yeah.
And so happy birthday to you. Ali Jermaine Laundrie, American actress, model and beauty pageant title holder who won Miss World USA in 1999. Miss USA 1999. Ali Jermaine Laundrie turns 50 today. She played Rita LaFleur on the UPN sitcom Eve and was the Doritos girl in a 1998 Super Bowl commercial. In 1998, she was named by People magazine as one of 50 most beautiful people in the world. 50 most beautiful people in the
Wow,
world.
awesome.
Well, I don't know the criteria for all of these things, you know, but well, she's beautiful,
Obviously.
of course, but
Yeah, like you
Well,
think 15 was beautiful. It's
yes.
Yeah, but obviously.
Well, maybe it's the face. Maybe they have, you know, I don't know.
I would like to think that Hollywood have their own standard of what they look out for when it comes to beauty, which might not necessarily translate into what the African really does look out for when it comes to beauty. I mean, it's great for her that People's Magazine, you know, does name her, you know, that high up. It will also be very important that maybe probably the magazines and then maybe the media people from this side also try to project what we see as, you know, African beauty. You know, it would also be very lovely to see that. But I think these days we've done well. We've been able to push into pop culture the love for voluptuous women. You know, that is what our media has done well with. And I think, I know it looks a little something, but it's a good cultural shift, because I don't think in past times it was obviously more slender women who were considered to be beautiful. Now, you know, we've been able to push that agenda, especially through black music videos, hip hop music videos and stuff. So that's conscious effort to make the African woman appealing. I think even now there's this this thing about melanin. It never used to be a thing, you know. People, and you have Salty Soul doing a song like Melanin. I don't know whether you know that song. You know, very beautiful song, and it's a good way to push an agenda. It's always good. Every time I see such things, I feel like, you know, out here we can also always do something to push culture in a certain way, to make you know things look a certain way, which for me is a very important thing. And this is what these people know and they use. So it's important that we also, you know, are able to tap into such, you know, stuff. Yeah.
Well, in as much as we are looking at, you know, times like this that have given voluptuous women, you know, that stands. Okay. Let's come to the individual preference. What's your definition of beauty?
My definition.
Slender, big, you know, what do you think?
Well, I would like to think my definition of beauty is literally, you know, someone I can have, you know, a great conversation with. Yeah.
Someone you can have a great conversation
with. If that mental telepathy is there, you know, we can move.
This thing you are doing it.
What am I doing?
Well, that brings us to the end of our famous birthday segment. If you have any birthday wishes for us, kindly let us know. I have one, and it's a friend of mine, Eric Achin. Yesterday it was, you know, a birthday, you know, wish to today, and so today is the actual birthday. So Eric Achin, happy birthday to you wherever you are. God bless you and make all things beautiful. I know you're doing amazing in the world of football, and so God bless you and elevate you in that field. And so we'll take a quick turn. When we come back, our news bulletin, where we have very, very informative conversations for you, is next.
Yeah. Pada crowd binyane. DJ Breezy.
Ntija yo. Ntija yo. Black hole yo. Chrome wide. Kajizika. Enemy girls. Here we want it. Chama confirm it. Enti ya papi. TSC chrome wide ntija yo. Yeah, we want it. TSC chrome wide ntija yo. Yeah, we want it. TSC chrome wide ntija yo. Yeah, we want it. TSC chrome wide ntija yo. Yeah, we want it. TSC chrome wide ntija yo. Yeah, we want it.
Atika ye jiremu amina papa wajipe ye tuemu free night call space to space me friend on friend ake menya mi dole mi si mi ti obiara menya mi bebe mi si mi ti obiara unya wodi ya fa wo to bo adri mi kura mi die about thing be de I think I made in the crina my finger. Ya really see a ginger guy cross your bet in the finger bunting. Cross your bet in the finger bunting. So cross your bet in the finger bunting. Ting bunting.
Yeah, we want it. TSC chrome wide ntija yo. Yeah, we want it. TSC chrome wide ntija yo. Yeah, we want it. TSC chrome wide ntija yo. Yeah, we want it. TSC chrome wide ntija yo. Yeah, we want it.
Friday night, yeah, Tuata, Chitabia, Maofe. Otiamu hallelujah, 3 a.m. Wahumachi. Kamanu Muselina wanti, morning gasini aswadi. Trapa Miami, my 80, or Brady Kessa, Mama Sati. Night life for Musami and Co. Or when you best in a co. Kwakumami fine, I'm in bo. Brana Monkey Waka Suko. Aye, Mama, Mr. Gradena Metissa. Nafe, Asambaya, Semetina, Oshisa. Pretty girls to Samabuka. I hire Wuta Santa Muda. Yes, you say you know me Muda. I dear me, I buy a friend Muka. Or chilling me, what I'm Muha. 20 seconds, guy, a tuba. Bessie Dama catching Uber. Sikana Sato in America. Ah, la 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 la.
Yeah, we want it. Outside. TSC chrome wide ntija yo. Yeah, we want it. Outside. Yeah, we want it. TSC chrome wide ntija yo. Yeah, we want it.
Come back to anyway. We outside, wash it till shed them. So happy. Come back to. Feeling sister, wish ya me. My GC can't count to mommy. Bottom breaker, I fit take and Baba Moro can't you mommy. So many girls, and to any P, you plenty of shit. So many girls all over the world, my mama come and my family. So I'm inside, not chow me sister. Brahma me she sweat, quick quite a visa. Messisa, awesome messisa.
Yeah, we want it. TSC chrome wide ntija yo. Yeah, we want it. TSC chrome wide ntija yo. Yeah, we want it. TSC chrome wide ntija yo. Yeah, we want it.
Welcome back. This is still Sun Up only on Shobiz TV. Of course, what we have gotten to is very, very important. We are going to be delving in some issues, Of course, we have a lot on our plate over the last, 24 hours. There have been some issues coming up, some issues that are surfacing, our channel. And so we are going to break it down for you. Of course, with me and Kofi Black, we're going to be doing some in Chechiremu for you, so that you get to know the ins and outs of all of these stories. We have, Black Hole being in the news. We have Sarkodie being in the news as well. And so let's dig deep by starting with Black Hole. Refund 50K, not 20K for breach of contract. Cruise agency tells Black Sharif. The organizers of the cruise ship music event is demanding a refund of $50,000 from Black Sharif. Reports indicate that the show has been cancelled. This is as a result of Blacko's failure to honor his end of the bargain. According to reports, a video endorsement to promote the show was required of Blacko as part of the contractual agreement between the organizers and the artists. Blacko's agency is now being asked to pay $50,000 instead of the initial $20,000 down payment due to Blacko's failure to make an endorsement video meant for marketing purposes. Hence, the show has allegedly been cancelled as a result. The organizers are now seeking compensation for other losses incurred as a result of the cancellation. Black Sharif was arrested on arrival at the Kotoka International Airport and works to the police headquarters to assist investigations. Kofi Black.
Yay.
This is our sensation now. Black Sharif. Our major sensation now in Ghana.
Untouchable.
Very much untouchable.
Yeah.
And many a times when people of such caliber, when they get to certain pedestals, then some issues start popping up.
Yeah.
From yesterday, he's been all over
the internet. I got online yesterday and I realized that he was the main story that was online. Initially, when he got arrested, there were people who did not believe it, and then now there were people who were saying that it was for weed possession. All sorts of
we got that a lot.
People were putting all sorts of spins to it, but we had a clarity on the issue, and we realized that it's more of a contractual issue, where he had to play a show, and there were certain things that he was supposed to do.
Should it be normal? Should we normalize it? Because there are a lot of... He's not the first person.
Okay.
We've had Sarkodie some time not, playing a show he was supposed to.
Okay.
We've had...
But I don't think Sarkodie was arrested.
Not arrested.
Yeah, but Blacko has been arrested, and I think what my takeaway from this whole Blacko situation is that it looks like Blacko has to pay attention to the fine prints. You understand? He has to really pay attention to the fine prints. And I'm hoping that it's probably just, a hype machine. They are just trying to generate some controversy around him for him to drop a new song or something. I hope that is the that is the actual case. But if that is not the case, then it's a serious issue that he really needs to look into. I think the last time conversations around him when it comes to his contracts and his business came out was when he dropped Quick the Traveler, and then he was like, of course, he effed up, and all of that, and it was quite interesting how he addressed that issue in a song, and that song, we know what that song has done for him, so probably maybe with this also he'll come and drop a whole album and explain the situation to us. I don't know, but I'm thinking that there could be also a play at trying to generate certain types of conversation around him. Maybe yes, maybe not. But if I should really go into the issue, like I said, he has to read the fine prints, because I think I saw some videos online yesterday about the man who is actually involved in the case, the people who are suing him or causing his arrest. And I think the situation is that they entered into an agreement with Blacko and his agency. According to the guy, they first they wanted Blacko to come and perform for them on their cruise ship. It looks amazing. It looks amazing.
Cruise ship.
You understand? And I mean, these artists are living a lot of people's
best
dreams.
lives.
You understand? So he's been contacted to play a show, a gig, on a cruise ship. And this is a show that people like Amachi Dede have played.
Definitely.
Grams Morgan has played on that cruise ship. So it's not like a novel something. This is something that this cruise line or these people have been doing over the past years. They have a good relationship with stalwarts like Morgan Heritage, like Amachi Dede and the rest. And they had contacted Blacko's team to play that particular show. And back and forth text messages, they sent mails, all of that, and they agreed on a sum. Which it was $40,000, and per the video that I watched, they were supposed to pay that 40,000, 20 of that, which is half payment, to show a commitment, and then Black will record a video to endorse the show, and based on that video that he will, record, they will use it to promote the cruise so that they'll get people on board and everything. So the video for them, according to them, because it's a video that's the subject of contention, that's the reason why they arrested Blacko. That video never came.
It never came.
You understand? So for them, it looks like a scam. You understand? And they said they've tried to get him to record that video. The video never comes. But what is really worth noting for me is a part of the contract that the guy reads, where it says that the company, which is Blacko's booking agency, has indemnified itself from any damages. You understand? That in any event of omission or commission by Blacko, to stick to the terms of the contract, the liability fully falls on Blacko. You understand? And a lot of people are having such conversations like, it means that this booking agency knows what it's really about. You understand?
Definitely.
It's like literally throwing Blacko under the bus. So I feel like he really needs to pay attention to, the dealings. But there are also other schools of thought. People say that is standard practice in business, in the business of, booking artists and stuff. That's what some people are also saying. But me as a lay person looking from the outside, it looks like setting yourself up, for, something that is not really the best for you, especially at this point in his career,
where he's
where it looks really like, he is on a roll, he is on a trajectory that would really project him on another level. But also, we know of artists who have gone to jail even and come out with some of their best works. You can talk about McMill, who literally went to jail, came back and did Championship, which was one of his most successful albums. There are a lot of artists who have been through, legal wranglings, and have come out stronger. We hope that he does come out stronger, but really, Blacko needs to pay attention to his contracts, needs to pay attention to the business side of his work. It doesn't look like he's paying attention that much. I think a lot of time we say that Blacko seems to be older than his age when it comes to how he answers questions and stuff. But for me, I think it would be very important to be detailed also, be very detailed when it comes to money issues, because at the end of the day, you are working for money. You understand?
That's
and these
true.
people are suing you for 50,000.
That's a lot of
I don't
money.
even think that 20,000 came to Blacko's pockets. They went to the booking agency. You understand? And I don't know how much they would have given him from that money. Now you are being sued. It's not the booking agency that is being sued for 50,000. I mean, that is a lot of money.
What do you think about artists? There are a lot of promoters that are being out recently or in recent times complaining that they put artists on some bills, and what they just need from them is for them to put it on their pages, on their social media handles, more like promote it for them. And at the end, they don't get it, they don't get that response. Like that. Sometimes, do you think it's the work of the promoter to solely promote what program or event it is, or it's embedded, on the artist as well to promote it?
Okay.
Also, if he doesn't do it anyways, at the end of the day, he's still making it to the event. So what's the problem?
So I think, simply put, I think it is the work of the promoter to promote the event, but the promoter needs certain tools to make the event happen. You understand? So if you need certain tools to make it happen, one of the tools that maybe the promoter sees that will really help him or her in promoting the event is that they see a video of you. There's an assurance from you, that you are actually making it, or that there is that, post on your social media handles to tell your fans that, hey, show up at this place because I'm going to be there. If that is the tool that the promoter thinks will sell his show, I think you should play ball. Especially if it's in a contract or if it's well stated in it. If it's silent, I mean, you could choose to do whatever. But it's also, I feel like it's a good gesture, that you are also interested in the success of the person's show. I think at the end of the day, even though people do business and everything, personal relations are very important. You understand? Because if I'm booking you for a show and you show a certain level of interest, even in my event, it makes I see you a different way, you understand, than just relating on just a business level. Which that other ways of relating could open even bigger doors, you understand. But obviously it is not the responsibility of the artist to promote the show. It's the responsibility of the promoter. That's your name. You are the promoter. You are supposed to promote the show, but the promoter does need tools in order to promote the show, which I think the artists, especially if the money is right and if it wouldn't really hurt anything when it comes to your brand, I don't think it should be a difficult thing to do. Yeah.
Now lastly, let's look at the take-home lesson, both on the level of an artist and an agency. What's that take-home lesson from this situation, so that at the end of the day, when we are having a contract, or so that we prevent any kind of contractual issues?
I think the take home from this is that, and for first of all, for the artists, like I mentioned, for someone like Black Sherif, an artist of his caliber, it's very important for them to look at the fine prints. I don't know the people who are around Black Sherif, especially his personal people. When it comes to the label and the management, they are doing their business. They are interested in their profits. You understand? You as the artist also has to have a team around you. Not just a team of boys, a team of people who really know the business side of things, who have your interest at heart. You understand? Who would, really look at some of these things and prompt you, because you don't expect Black Sherif, probably, I don't know how many pages of a contract it is, how busy he is, he probably wouldn't read all of that. You understand? A lot of people are saying that education is important, blah blah blah. I think Black Sherif is educated enough to read a contract and understand it. The only thing is that he probably would not read it because of a lot of things that's going on around him. So it's important that he has trusted people who can go through such things, and point out what is wrong in it so that it will be addressed. And when it comes to the booking agency, I just feel like it is very important for them, to be able to make every effort to provide to stick to the terms of the contract that you have made your artist sign. You understand? Because now it appears the contract is even between Black Sherif and the company directly. It's not the booking agency. It's just an agent, in the whole matter. You understand? So it is very important that booking agents also are very, I don't know what the difficulty was when it came to just getting Black Sherif to do the video. I don't know what the difficulty was, that they are able to, really do stuff in such a way that, both parties are fulfilling their contractual obligations. I mean, when you look at the video from the man, he was also talking about the fact that he sent a letter to them, there was no reply, all of those things. I think, that shouldn't be happening,
there
especially on this level.
There were definitely some lapses over there.
Lapses, yeah, exactly.
And so we have to check it so that we don't find ourselves wanting. Of course, we are, open for your contribution. You can send in your contributions on 050-395-1006, 050-395-1006. We are taking our next story. I hid from my team to record Try Me because I didn't want any advice. This is coming straight from Sarkodie. Now, after replying Try Me, he has come back to tell us, or he was having a conversation with someone telling the person that, when he recorded Try Me, he didn't want any advice. We don't want any advice right now, so let me just read it. Award-winning rapper Sarkodie has revealed that his team was not aware of his intentions to record Try Me, a song aimed at Yvonne Nelson, following allegations in her memoir that she was impregnated by the rapper. According to Sarkodie, he had to sneak into the studio to record the song, unknown by his team. In recent conversation with Angela Yee, former Breakfast Club host, although people think his team was aware and in support of his actions, it was not the case. People think my team is in support of what I did on the record. None of them knew I did the record because I was on a tour when it happened, so he revealed. Sarkodie also shared in his interview that he is not entirely proud of his response to the matter. He revealed that he did not let his team members in on his plan for fear that they might talk him out of it. Sometimes I feel something, then the lyrics is going to come right there and then. I sneaked into the studio to even record this. I didn't let anyone hear it because I didn't want to hear any advice. I literally just wanted to do what I felt at the point and face the consequences later on. But it wasn't like the whole team sat down and said, this is how it's going to go. I did it personally for myself, he explained. Sarkodie also shared that after he released the song, which had already been leaked on the internet, he got a lot of phone calls from a lot of people. Yes, a lot of phone calls. In the heat of the moment, the person that I didn't hear from, which normally she would have been the first person to hit me, is my lawyer, he shared. This coming from Sarkodie. Well, I feel like what he's sharing or what he shared in the interview is a way to apologize, but
apologizing,
not directly apologizing.
It's like an African mom who has beaten you and trying to apologize, but it's just comfort food.
Definitely. But we are going to check a sneak peek of what their interview was.
All right.
Now let's get into the meat of this, because the most recent song you put out is called "Try Me."
Try Me.
I cannot believe you did that, because I feel like you try your hardest to not engage in even doing press, and you've even said that you like to keep your personal life separate from you as an artist. But in this particular situation, you've had to address things that have been said about you, right? And so what was your decision in making this song? People are calling it a diss song, but I feel... And it is harsh. I'll say that because it hurt my heart when I was like, "Ooh, I would hate for somebody to." I would not want to go back and forth with Sark on a situation like this. But what made you decide this was the move that you were going to make, as far as addressing, this book where it was referenced you had made a woman have an abortion?
To be very honest, it's a sensitive conversation. That the reason why I didn't do no media run or press around it is because I know I might lose. How I would like to present what I feel about it. So normally this is not the first time I've done records to address certain issue, or maybe a line or two in a record, just to, because I don't know, there's certain energy I hate to feed into, especially speaking about it, because I might lose my cool. So with this situation, yes, exactly. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm super proud of everything. It's just in the moment how I felt, whether it be my truth, there should have been a way that you could have said it. That's why I don't like to speak about it, because this is a conversation between two people, but then we could have a conversation if you want to talk about it, because it involves me as well.
Right.
But because people know the Sark doesn't speak, people think they can say something and no, Sark is not going to speak, and then it's going to get away with it. Yeah. So once in a while, you just
let them poke the bear. Yeah.
Exactly.
Poke the bear.
So,
and because I'm the same way. If people talk crazy about me, I don't like to address things because I feel like it gives it way more life.
Exactly.
And I see people do it all the time, and instead of me engaging in a back and forth, I'm like, you know what? Go ahead, I'm going to just keep on doing my thing and not let anybody knock me off my square.
True.
But this time you said, it wasn't a line or two. I mean, so I want to know,
the whole record.
Who did you let hear this first? Was anybody in the studio with you when you did this?
That's what's funny.
Please.
My team is here. They're all people think my team is in support of what I did or the record. None of them knew I did the record, because I was on tour. I'm actually on tour when it happened.
Yes.
So, and sometimes when I feel something, then the lyrics is going to come right there and then. So I sneaked into the studio to even record this. I didn't let nobody hear it, because I didn't want to hear no advice.
Right.
I just literally want to do what I felt at that point. And face the consequences later on. But it wasn't like the whole team sat down and said, this is good to go. I did it personally for myself.
They probably was like, what are you doing? I can imagine those phone calls and text messages.
A lot of phone calls. So in the heat of the moment, the person that
Well, that's a Sarkodie right there, and he is telling us that he did it personally, for himself. And so, Kofi Black,
Yeah.
would you actually go into a very solidified, space, just you, and just kind of
Record.
vent, record? Maybe you are not into recording.
Okay.
Maybe you write something.
Okay.
Or what kind of guy are you?
Yo, I don't even know the kind of guy.
Or you're the
at this
phone call
point.
kind of person,
Nah, I'm
venting
not gonna
on
make
the
it.
anchor.
Nah, never. I'm not the phone call
definitely.
type. I don't even know the type of person that I am. But I just feel when I'm troubled about issues, I keep quiet. You understand? Yeah, because I mostly feel like I try to understand things from people's perspective first of all, and when I'm having difficulty with it, that is when I'll really approach it. But mostly I'm just the type of person who wants, I don't like people to see my next move. Yeah, I take you by surprise. That's how I prefer it.
So you don't go into solitude trying to do things just to, anger the other party.
Nah, I don't do that. I don't do that. When you offend me, I keep my cool. But I'm gonna get at you.
But people like that are dangerous,
Exactly.
People
I'm gonna
like
get
that.
at you, but you don't see it coming. You get. Yeah.
Then I
So-
definitely don't want to be in your bad books. But this is Sarkodie.
This Sarkodie.
And then this is something that, Yvonne Nelson has battled with for a very long time. And then his name just pops up. We've had this conversation for a very long time.
very
talking
long
about
time,
it.
yeah.
And so he put something together.
First off, what really comes to mind is that I think it's very good that he's taking personal responsibility for the nonsense that he put out. Yeah, I feel that that's the stuff that he put out was very unnecessary for me, an artist of his caliber. It was very unnecessary to put that type of thing out, especially in the climate that we are at the
Definitely.
moment. You get me? I feel that we are in a time where women are being celebrated a lot. People are pushing an agenda, to put women in a certain type of light, and then you have an artist of his caliber coming out calling, a lady that he has actually been with, that she's for the streets, and some of the words in the song are kind of unpalatable. I felt first of all that when the situation came out, he could have done the big man thing. Probably issue a statement, something, or not talk at all. But obviously, you can't fault someone for trying to explain his side of the story. But what is the point in explaining your side of the story when it gets you into more debt? You understand? I think people have seen Sarkodie in a different light just based off that record that he did. So for me, right now, what it looks like for me is that he's trying to do damage control. I don't know how that has hurt his brand, but he mentioned the fact that he expected a text from his lawyer. It means that you're collaborating. When them say you understand, but you're expecting that the repercussions. So someone will come later and tell you that and this and that and that. I think he's probably facing the backlash or the repercussions
Definitely.
of that particular song, and he feels probably it's time for him to set it out right. And he does a smart thing by arranging an interview with Angela Yee, because Angela Yee is not in our system. He's not here. She probably has done her research to know the situation, but she doesn't have that type of full knowledge about the situation,
it.
both whether Yvonne Nelson or Sarkodie, to be able to attack the situation in a way that will get him to talk. You understand? So he does a good PR job by trying to go to Angela Yee and straighten the situation, and I think this is the only time he's going to talk about it.
Well, he looks like he's not going to talk about it.
It looks like he's not going to talk about it. Probably, maybe it's intentional that he's on an international platform talking about it.
Definitely,
very intentional,
because it traveled. It's really traveled.
Yes, because for me, you are Sarkodie, and people are expecting you to get to the next level of your career, which is a worldwide domination of your brand. And you are literally on an international platform talking about Yvonne Nelson. Do you understand me? Why are you talking about Yvonne Nelson on I don't even think he even had any conversation about his new songs that are out, or what he's doing next, or even that his world tour that he's literally on at the moment. It was just very personal conversations, because I watched the full interview. He was talking about, you know, growing up, and I don't know what that play was. I just think he's trying to change the narrative of what actually happened. Sarkodie is talking to us about having daddy issues. If you watch the interview, talking about the daddy, you know, the mom arranging a meeting between himself and the dad. What are you playing at? Eva Nelson writes a book trying to tell her she has daddy issues. This is why she is at where she is. You go on an interview, you are trying to tell us about how difficult your childhood was.
Maybe he's trying to appeal. Of course, it's not only Yvonne that has issues. Every single person in this world that has issue one way or the other.
Yeah,
so he is also, you know,
my point exactly is that there's a very intentional, you know, attempt to spin the narrative. But me, the good thing about it really for me is that he has taken responsibility for what he has done. He's not trying to push it on his team, not trying to push, you know, on his, you know, people around him.
Did he take full responsibility though? Because it looks like someone who wants to apologize.
Okay.
But it's not coming directly.
Yeah.
And so, oh, my team was not, you know, aware of it. Oh, it was personal. Oh, people called me. Oh, so is there a direct kind of apology, or is just, you know, to control the whole issue?
I think the crux of it really is that he is not probably happy with the, you know, I don't know the word repercussions, with the outcome of the song that he dropped. Probably not happy with the entire outcome of what he dropped. But it appears to me that, you know, he knew what he was doing. He's done it. And for me, an apology from him wouldn't really. I don't want an apology from him. I don't want him. I'm not even else. I'm saying I don't want. But I feel like there's no need for an apology. You understand? Taking responsibility doesn't necessarily mean that you have regretted the action. You understand? It's just taking responsibility, realizing that this is what you have done.
I did.
Yeah, I can live with it. You understand? Yeah. So for me, I think it was very important that he actually took responsibility of, you know, this. And there was something that was very interesting to me in the movie. There was something that was very interesting for me, really, in the movie, that, you know, I actually feel like Sarkodie does well when it comes to, you know, moving into certain spaces. You get me? In the sense that, Angela, you mentioned that Sarkodie was the one who actually hit her up. You know that.
Now let's check the video out. We want to quickly, you know, check the video out.
So early morning, I was trying to tease her, and I said, "Mama C, so don't you care about what's happening? Because you would hit me up and say, what are we doing?" But the sad news is she was dead at the same time.
What?
Yeah. So I see 2 texts go. I didn't hear. Of course, she would respond like within 5 minutes.
Wow.
It took hours, and then I heard she's no more. So
oh
just
my
within
God,
that period,
that's an
it was
awful.
like very tough time within that short
I'm
period.
so sorry to hear that.
Good.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. Ooh,
Yeah, so she would have been somebody who I know wouldn't endorse that.
He happened to say he had a lot of calls.
Yeah.
And one key person who I know is so dear to his heart is his lawyer. And unfortunately, it's bad that we've lost her.
Yeah.
And
so for I mean, he mentioned that it was a double tragedy for him during that period. A lot of people think that things do not get to Sarkodie. Obviously, he has admitted that since it's a double tragedy, what was the other tragedy? The other tragedy was obviously, you know, the news that Yvonne Nelson put out. I mean, condolence to the family of, you know, his lawyer.
Definitely.
You know, probably a very trying time. But I feel he probably shouldn't have thrown her into this conversation at all. Because a lot of people are likely to see this as playing a pity card. You understand? People would look at it in certain ways and will come at the situation differently just because of, you know, the whole narrative of the situation. So for me, I think he should have just left her out of this whole conversation. Let the dead bury the dead. Let the dead be dead. You understand? Don't bring her into all of this.
I think that everybody is quietly doing that, you know, emotional appeal thing. We're coming from Yvonne Nelson. We saw that in the little bits of it, you know, in her memoir.
Yeah.
And Sarkodie too is, you know, appealing to the fact that there's a loss here.
Yeah, there's a loss here,
So
and even
I
the
think
fact
all of
that he
them
was
were
trying
doing
to play, having a difficult childhood and having daddy issues and all. I'm like, where is this one from?
Interested in that part.
Where is this one from?
Why he looks so tough? He can't have a difficult childhood.
I'm not saying, but it's not a story that you've shared with us. Why share it with us now?
He chooses to share it now.
So for me, the real takeaway from this is that he has taken responsibility for his actions, and I also like the way he tried to protect the wife when the questions were being asked. I think Angela Yee was trying to find out, what the wife's reaction to the whole situation was, and he seemed to be very spot on when it came to his protecting the wife, because I think in recent times his wife is kind of a likable person. You understand? And it looked like this situation and the post that she put out has really brought her under a certain type of light, which is not what you expect from her. Because
so what do you expect? Because you are having a problem with my husband, or you are having issues, you are having things you have to dust out and all of that. I don't think it should affect me. If it affected her, then we'll have the same Ghanaians or the same people come at her.
Yeah, but she actually did post I think a memory verse or something which seemed like a shade. You understand? So if it doesn't affect you, why are you reacting? Do you understand?
What if it's just a Bible verse that is just speaking to a lot of things?
It's not. It's actually not. But I mean, granted, she has every right to have whatever opinion. But I always say, in as much as you have a right to have whatever opinion, be ready for the backlash when it comes. You understand? Take responsibility for it. I mean, at the end of the day, whatever they are talking about, it's not going to deem you. Just that people are just going to see you in a different light moving on. But I really do think that Sarkodie standing up for the wife is a stand-up thing to do.
Definitely.
You understand? So that is really the takeaway from this. The positive from it for him. But I really don't come telling us a pity story. We are not hearing it.
Well, I love Sarkodie any day, and I love Yvonne Nelson as well. But you see, I don't want to put myself in some corner that I can't redeem myself. So from where I sit, I'm so indifferent.
So you like Sarkodie any day, but you like Yvonne Nelson as well.
I love her as well, but let me just go on. Until our next story, what my class 4 teacher told me that changed my life. This is coming from Kofi Kinata. Of course, if you know Kofi Kinata, you know that he has been giving it to us back to back, in terms of the takrade, the Fanti language in his music and the sense in his music. Fanti rap god Kofi Kinata has taken to social media to share significant life-changing moments from his childhood. He recounted an encounter with his class 4 teacher who was deeply concerned about his troublesome and truant behavior in school. According to him, he was a deviant so much that his teacher was always moved to tears. Fearing a not so bright future for Kofi Kinata, his teacher went the extra mile to make a lasting impact on his life by taking him on a stroll and showing him 2 houses in the neighborhood and the traits exhibited by both owners. I remember my class 4 teacher used to cry several times because I was very troublesome and truant. One day she took me out to see a nice building in the neighborhood and asked me if I would like to buy a nice house like this. I answered yes, and she told me the owner of the house was very obedient, paid attention in class, never worried his teacher, never fought in class, and was very smart. Then she showed me a dirty house of one notorious person in our neighborhood and asked which of the 2 houses I would love to build in future. I still answered the first one, and she said the person who lives inside never paid attention in class and was behaving like me when he was my age. So if I want to be a bigger person in future, I should take everything she teaches me serious. Her advice changed my perspective on a lot of things. This profound piece of advice from his teacher deeply impacted Kenyatta. He revealed it made him realize the importance of taking his education seriously, paying attention in class, and behaving responsibly. It was from that moment that he revealed his life changed for the better, and that experience stayed with him throughout his life journey, becoming a successful musician. He made the revelation while contributing to a discussion by Lydia Forson on the need for teachers to be highly remunerated. Kofi Kenyatta. If you know Kofi, then you know all of his amazing songs he's been giving us. And you realize that every single song he gives us has a meaning to it.
Or, like I said, he's that type of person who is, I said, Oyanyansini. You understand? I mean, his teacher actually lied to him, though.
Why would you say that?
The teacher lied to him.
Right.
But, you know, it actually did shape him
definitely
widely. But it's obvious it was a lie. Isn't it obvious
Why
it's
do
a
you
lie?
think it's a lie?
Oh, bro. How does a teacher know that the beautiful house, you know, was actually built by someone who wasn't
Which notorious? Okay, well.
No, which notorious person built?
No, I was going to say something. So she mentioned that the house was not really in was not
really
quite
in
a
good condition.
shape, you know?
Yo, at least he did have a house, right? At least he did have a house. The stubborn person also had a house, you know, which is not easy to have these days.
So what are you preaching?
What I'm preaching is that truth should be told to kids, no matter how. But obviously, the teacher really has impacted his life in a positive way, which is actually a good thing. But I think children should be told the truth, you know, and let them make the choice. See, going through school, having come out of school, what I've personally realized is that, you know, you don't necessarily, especially in our system, probably in other places, the school, like being in school and paying attention and being a good student could actually be what, you know, would send you to the next level of your life. But we are in a situation in Africa or in Ghana where you could do so well in school, you come out and you still not get a job. You understand? So for me, in our system, really, I don't think, especially now, I think growing up, one of the things that was really drummed in our heads consistently was how, you know, we were supposed to, you know, go to school, finish school, and, you know, have a good job. I think that was what our parents had, you know, but that is not what we have now. At the moment, your good grades in school doesn't guarantee you a better life.
But it helps shapes your life.
Yeah, it does help shape your life. Like, it has helped. I don't know how his grades were in school, you know, but whatever the situation is, the advice from the teacher,
it's the advice
really has helped.
at.
Yeah, really has helped him,
because
which is a good thing. But I would like to encourage that, you know, parents, people in authority, tell children the truth, because sometimes you grow up and you realize that some of the things that you were told were not actually facts. They weren't true. But obviously they have good intentions. They are trying to shape you in a particular way, but it's important to shape the person with truth rather.
Well, you know, I'm taking you from this angle. When I was in JHS, I had, you know, one teacher that was very mean to me, and not just to me, to my classmates as well. And so it didn't allow us to free ourselves, you know, be in that conducive space to actually grasp everything that he taught us. And it made life quite difficult for us when we were in school. And so if we didn't take, you know, extra, attention, or we didn't pay extra attention to what we were doing, I'm sure we wouldn't have ended up, you know, where some of us are now. And so I think that it's very important, you know, that teachers not tell them lies per se, but have some, you know, very encouraging words to tell students. Sometimes the students may not even be the brightest in class, but it's just that word you instill in them that, you know, guarantees that, oh, okay, so she said I should do this way. It may not even reflect in a very short while, but when they go home, of course we are human beings, you think, and so you definitely realize that it gets to a point you even realize that chale then
you need to change things.
you know. And let's take this part as well. You know, Lydia Forsing, she's been preaching that teachers are to be remunerated. Of course, they should be given some incentives, you know, the pays they're receiving. What do you think? Do you think teachers have been treated fairly? Because I know a lot of people that have to travel miles, like, you know, go to villages, you know, to be transferred there, no houses to live in, no proper, you know, food, like everything that helps you as a human being. Like they don't have all of that social amenities and all of that there, and they still go that mile to, you know, teach the children.
I do think teachers deserve better, you know. They do deserve better.
Definitely. Well, this is our news bulletin. Of course, Kofi Black is saying teachers really do deserve better. What do you think? You can let us know. What's that one teacher, or who is that one teacher that made life stressful for you small, that maybe you want to talk about them? If you don't have one and you have a good one that made life, you know, easier for you. And this is Kofi Kinata. Of course, we love every song, you know, he is giving us. And so this brings us to our end of our bulletin. And I think I have one message going on here. Let me just go to it. Okay. So this person is saying that I am loving the show. Of course, I am speaking from Tema. I'm loving your show. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for enjoying this show. I was beautifully styled by Goldie Looks, and she is located at Adogono Railway bus stop. Goldie Looks, she's been doing amazing. Myself and Aiko, she's been styling us from Monday to now. I think she deserves, you know, some roses, some flowers. And so if you need all of your dresses, you can call her on 024-945-7070. 024-945-7070. You can as well, you know, check her out or follow her on her Instagram handle as Goldie Looks. Goldie Looks, and she has done, you know, amazing for us today. And I had my news bulletin with Kofi Black, and we are coming to an end of the Sun Up Show. This week has been a special edition. Trust me, from Monday through to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we are on Friday. Thank God it's Friday edition of Sun Up. Let us know what your weekend is looking like. Are you going to the club? Are you going to have some fresh air at the beach? Are you going to have some fufu? What's the weekend looking like? You can send in your comments. Follow us on our Instagram handle, all our social media handles as Shobiz TV, Instagram Shobiz TV, every single social media handle you can have your hands hold on. You can let us know how your weekend is going. This has been an amazing week, tremendously very successful, and we come your way another week, that is next week. Well, many of us don't want the weekend to end, but unfortunately the weekend is ending. Shout out to my cameraman. We have Nicholas, we have Numbers, we have Augustus, we have every single person from Captain Hooks to Nick, and every single person, Aseye, you know, slapping our faces for us, Charlie. We know it's not been an easy week, but you guys have pulled us through. And so God bless you for staying with us. It's an amazing weekend. Enjoy your weekend. This has been Sun Up only on Shobiz TV. Tune in and enjoy the rest of our programs.